Hi everyone, my name is Robin Speziale and I'm the author of the national best-selling book, Market Masters, Interviews with Canada's Top Investors. So I'm a Canadian and we love our hockey, and Wayne Gretzky is known to say the following. He said, skate to where the puck is going to be, not to where it's been. And I announced in my newsletter a couple of times and in my book, Market Masters, how in 2015 I was researching the marijuana sector, and I happened upon this company called Tweed, which is now Canopy Growth. I started buying the stock at $1 per share, and rode that wave, that wave all the way up. Marijuana has been a very hot sector, but I don't think the next couple of years I'm ever going to see a 40 bagger again from Canopy Growth Corp. But the stock did go up from $1 to $40. So what I'm thinking about now, and what Wayne Gretzky said, is that look to where the puck is going, where it's going to be in the future. And the future, in my opinion, is robotics. It's robotics, it's artificial intelligence, it's automation. It's these companies, these publicly traded companies, and private companies too, that are going to transform our lives, how we work, how we play. And a really simple example is a company called iRobotics, which makes these automated robot vacuums. You set the vacuum down on your floor in your home or your condo, and it vacuums for you. It knows exactly where to go and to clean up. And so these companies will essentially improve our lives in the future. And there is a lot of money to be made. There are a lot of publicly traded companies globally in the U.S. and Europe, and if you're interested to learn more, check out two ETFs. So these are two ETFs. They're based in the U.S. One is called Robo, and it's the Robo ETF. If you take a look at some of its holdings, you'll see one that I mentioned is iRobot. There's another company that's in its holdings, Intuitive Surgical, that's making robots to help in the surgical process at hospitals. There's other companies here as well, Rockwell Automation, Cognex, and they span different industries. So there's robotics for healthcare, robotics for consumers, robotics for manufacturing, to improve the process and to automate how we do things. So Robo is the first ETF you can take a look at, and the second ETF you can take a look at is one called BOTZ, BOTZ. And BOTZ has a lot of similar holdings in it. Some of the top holdings, I'm looking at the site now, in early January 2018, NVIDIA. NVIDIA is making some of the parts that go into the autonomous vehicles, chips. And there's also Intuitive Surgical, there's Mitsubishi, there's a lot of other companies that again are investing directly in artificial intelligence, robotics, and automation for the future. And if you take a look at the performance of these two ETFs, I have up here on Google Finance, I'm comparing Robo ETF, ROBO, versus BOTZ, BOTZ ETF. And for the year of 2017, Robo was up 46% on the market, and BOTZ was up 60%. So BOTZ did beat Robo. And if I was to ever invest in one of these ETFs, I would invest in BOTZ. They tend to hold smaller companies, which I've seen in their holdings, and more global companies. So I'm Canadian again, and I noticed that in the holdings of these ETFs, you don't find many Canadian companies at all. I found one called Maxar Technologies and another Canadian company called ATS Automation. So, I'm a stock picker, I'm a do-it-yourself investor, and a lot like when I was researching marijuana stocks in the industry in 2015, it was an emerging, immature industry. I'm now researching the robotics, the AI automation industry here in Canada. And what I did, I went on the TMX website and I looked up all the TSX and TSX Venture technology stocks. I sifted through all of them. There are hundreds, and I actually found 34 of those technology stocks that are investing in AI, in robotics. So I have a list of 34 companies. And again, this exercise felt like what I was doing when I was researching those marijuana stocks. It's a little bit different though. Marijuana is largely a commodity, and these robotic companies, they're all very different. They specialize in different technologies, in different industries. For example, there's one called Kraken Robotics. Kraken Robotics is like the Tesla of under the water. They're creating autonomous vehicles for the seas, for the oceans. And some of their biggest contracts are with governments and military for exploration or for military excursions. And there's a whole list of companies here. I'm still conducting my research, but some of these companies are ranging from $3 million in market cap, on the TSX Venture, all the way up to a couple of billion. And I will say this, this new S curve. There's been a lot of S curves in the past 10 years. We're seeing an exponential rate of technological advancement. There's been, the personal computer was a major S curve, and you saw a lot of companies grow and become successful on that S curve. Microsoft is one that comes to mind in the PC era. In the internet era, right, you saw an S curve, but then there was exponential growth. It was years later. It was after that tech bust. You saw Amazon, Google, Facebook really start to dominate on that S curve. And then later it was the mobile S curve, where you had BlackBerry with the smartphone, then you had Apple start to dominate and take market share away, as well as the Android hardware makers. And so now you have this new S curve come about, which is robotics, AI, and automation. But what you should think about, this is the framework you should apply, is that some of the companies might be companies that you knew before, like BlackBerry. BlackBerry selling handsets. They got beat by Android, they got beat by Apple, but now BlackBerry has shifted its investments, its capital, its business to AI and to robotics. So for example, BlackBerry partnered with Baidu, which is the Google of China, to help create their autonomous vehicle platform. And so it's not just these new companies on this new robotics S curve. Sometimes it's these old companies that are reinventing themselves, and you have to apply that frame. It was a lot like when Apple shifted from the PC, the home computer S curve, and they started investing heavily in mobile with the iPod, with the iPhone, and that's how they started to dominate that market, and how their stock just shot up and made a lot of people wealthy. They jumped S curves, you could say. So I'm putting a lot of focus here into robotics. If you're interested in seeing this list, it's a very early list of robotics companies. Email me at r.speziale@gmail.com and visit my website, robinspeziale.com. You can learn more about me and check out some more blog posts. All right, guys, talk soon. Bye.